let's move on now to actually looking a bit more deeper at how we're actually going to innovate some of our IT and bring our IT in alignment with the business needs. So first question, of course, what are your compliance requirements, as I mentioned earlier? So is that to gain a particular ISO, PCI DSS, or many other, of course, industry specific standards? They will give you, those standards will give you straight off the bat certain things you need to adhere to and have in place, of course. So that's a great place to start. And out of that, some of that will be business process, as I mentioned, but there will be technology controls as well. So there's part one of what does IT need. Come back to what I spoke about at the beginning. Is IT and the business in alignment? So from that, what are your business objectives? Probably business growth, almost certainly. Operational security. Do you want to have a more agile, flexible workforce? Are you carrying forward hybrid working? It's the very hot topic at the moment. So, and again, those business objectives can complement with the compliance standards as well. So again, us, as much as the likes of Microsoft, we very much have a hybrid approach to our workforce, but we are fully compliant with our ISOs that we maintain. And we have actually enabled our processes and our security controls to support that and be compliant. So this is where everything starts coming together. So again, just to mention again what I said at the beginning, compliance isn't an IT thing, it's a whole business thing. And this is where we start bringing this all together. So now we understand some of the actual business requirements, we can now start using that in our tech stacks. So as I mentioned, we have the Microsoft best practices. So this is our security and our compliance baselines. So we would follow things like the well-architected framework for setting up an Azure environment. That's ensuring that all the best practices, all the common baselines around security and compliance and optimized structure are in place. And that's a key parallel to this, is that when you're setting up any cloud environment, particularly something like Azure, it's key to make sure that commercially you've set the environment up to best practice, not just from a security and compliance point of view. And these frameworks also touch into that as well. It's making sure that the environment is optimized. Bad practice would be to take an old on-premise IT environment and literally just lift and shift it and copy it up into Azure and then run it there. Guarantee you that will cost you a lot of money and it'll probably just exponentially increase. However, if we take that environment and we move it intelligently and we move those workloads, I should say, intelligently into the Microsoft Cloud, whether that's Azure or whether it's the areas of different areas of 365, then actually we can optimize that cost. And we take better use of the tools available in Azure. So if you have a server running, but no one needs to access it overnight, let's switch it off. Power it down. We save money then. Do we need to have servers running to manage our devices? No, because actually we'd push that into 365. So all of our best practices are also there very much around our optimizing our spend as well as the security. So there's that whole piece there. We bring in our compliance template. So we start in saying, right, here's the template. It gives us recommendations for this particular standard. Let's now plan in how we're going to implement those. And we bring in that cloud management of our users and devices and data. So we're now ticking off all of our baselines. Now, if we get this right as well, this should actually make for a much better user experience straight out the box, because by using the cloud management tools, we can have our users able to access the resources they need in a secure manner, but we've put protections in place that those resources are protected against inappropriate criminal activity. By using these tools, we could be supporting that hybrid workforce. I love to use myself as an example here. I actually joined Cloud Direct in the middle of the very first lockdown, back at the beginning of the pandemic. I've been into our office, I think, 4 times in that time. But my laptop, and I've worked remotely from home the rest of that time. My laptop is secure, compliant. I can get onto it, access all the company resources I need, but again, in that secure manner. So I've been able to work. I've not been fighting IT to try and get access. I've not had a problem where my laptop's then failed because it hasn't been on the network for a period of time, or any of those historic problems. So again, because we've got this in place, it becomes just a good user experience. I can just sit at my desk, fire up my laptop, and I'm working. I'm not fighting the IT. And I do think that's key. And when I spoke earlier about IT being an enabler, if it's done properly, it's that thing. Does the user able to do their job without feeling like they're fighting IT? And if we get this right, that's absolutely the experience they should have. So we've got all these baselines in. We've got our users having a much better experience. Already we're seeing some benefits here. Moving on from that, of course, we can start utilizing a lot of these tools a lot more. So we can start bringing in things like automation. We can do that in security and compliance. I'm going to touch on some specific areas of that shortly. But that could be automation around our business processes. So how can we use the tools in Azure and in 365 to help automate certain business processes, which again improves efficiency? It can also improve record keeping, audit trails, all of this sort of thing. When we've got our data running in Azure, how do we then leverage that data better? It opens up a whole world of data analytics, reporting, and AI that we can use to interrogate and make better use of that data to give real business insights. So we can start leveraging that. And our app modernization as well. Again, just because something's run on a server on an on-premise environment for years doesn't necessarily mean that's the best way forward now. So we can bring that into Azure and actually improve how that app runs, improve how we can use it, improve the cost and the security around it. So there's all sort of additional benefits we can start opening up and really then leverage these tools to really help the business move forward. And a lot of these tools, again, complement perfectly more hybrid working as well. So if you've got people on the go who need access to data, and perhaps that's in dashboarding, or need alerts when certain triggers are happening in the business, we can make that happen when that person's on the go.